Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen James, the channel that brings you your team every single day, as my voice goes, and doesn't charge you a penny for the privilege. Right, look, the board have chosen failure. Yes, well, the board have chosen failure. Phillipe Clement is still in a job. He has not been sacked. He has survived. I think, if anything was going to happen, it was going to happen the day after the game, wasn't it? I don't think anything is going to happen now before the weekend. Clement will be given the weekend, certainly. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, absolutely stone cold honest with you. I don't think he gets the sack. I think he's here till the end of the season. I think even if he loses every single Old Firm between now and the end of the season, which I predict he will, I think he stays in post. I genuinely cannot see this board sacking him. I genuinely can't. I mean, I think a lot of it is down to the fact that there is absolutely nobody running this club at this moment in time. The CEO, obviously, we still don't have a CEO. We still don't have a chairman. We don't have a director of football. We don't have anything really. It really is a shambles, isn't it, from top to bottom? And like I said, that's why he's still in place. And I think that the club are hedging the bets. And I think, what Joshua Barry said today about the noises he's hearing coming out of Ibrox, that he stays in a job, are true. He isn't going anywhere. The board have chosen to fail. The board have chosen to write the season off. The board have chosen to win absolutely nothing this season, to not progress in Europe, to fail in every competition, to come second to Celtic, to allow Celtic to get even further ahead of us in terms of trophies won. It's unforgivable, absolutely unforgivable. Right, so look, let's start with let's put a few rumours to bed, shall we? So, story came out tonight that was talked about on the podcast. If you haven't caught it live, please obviously have a look. As regards former Rangers manager Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard is the present manager of Al Ettifaq. I don't do that in a Scouse accent. Ettifaq. Hey, calm down. He's the manager of Al Ettifaq in Saudi Arabia. He's been there for 15 months, I think it is now, 15, 16 months. Al Ettifaq are going through a bit of a tough spell at this moment in time. They went out of the King's Cup at the weekend and not doing too well in the Saudi Pro League. Reports were emerging from Saudi tonight that he had been sacked as manager of Al Ettifaq. Now, I can report that is not true. Gerrard is still the manager of Al Ettifaq. He has not been sacked. There are calls on him to step down. There are calls on him to resign. But given the fact that as a major name in world football, as part of the advertising, as part of the sort of sales pitch for the Saudi Pro League, having Steven Gerrard there is worth more to them than not having him there. So I think very much at the moment he is still in post and has not been sacked at all. So look, all of you hoping to get Steven back to persuade him to come back to Rangers after being sacked, well, allegedly sacked by Ettifaq, it isn't going to happen at this moment in time. He is still there. Now, given the fact, obviously, he'll probably want to stay for the 2 years to make sure he gets that money tax-free, which will obviously certainly set his family or his whole family up for the future. Like I said, he is under an awful lot of pressure. Of course he is. But like I said, that whole claim about him being sacked has been squashed by Al Ettifaq and the Saudi Pro League tonight. I mean, look, Steven Gerrard, getting him back at Rangers, I mean, I'll be honest, a lot of people say you should never go back, don't they? They also say you should never go back to your ex, you should never go back to your former employer, you should never go back to anything because it'll never be the same, will it? I mean, it's never the same second time round, that's what they say. It's true. But Steven, when he was at Rangers, was fantastic. He was a fantastic manager. I mean, he was there from June 2018 to November 2021. In that time, we played 193 games. We won 125 of them. We drew 42 and we lost 26. He had a 64.8% win percentage. Obviously, then he went off to Aston Villa, where he lasted about just under a year before he was sacked by Villa, before then going across to Al Ettifaq, where his record is not particularly great, actually. He's actually got a 37% win percentage there. Look, I think a lot of people are right in what they say. Gerrard had a vision. I mean, people, look, let's go back. Quite. So people criticise Steven Gerrard, because of the fact that he only won one trophy at Rangers. Yes, it was the league title. It was 55. It was fantastic. Yeah, we probably should have won 3 trophies that year. I think we should have won the treble, but obviously we failed. I had someone on the podcast tonight say, yeah, but he's not as successful as Clement, who's won 3 Belgian leagues. Yeah, but Gerrard won the Scottish League, so he knows how to win the Scottish League, which kind of gives him a bit one up. And Clement can't manage in Scotland, as we've seen. Gerrard, I think, look, Gerrard knows how to do the job in Scotland. He has a bit of a presence over them as well. They have a bit of a fear of him. He knows how to beat them. He knows how to get around them. He knows how to master Celtic. And that's one of the key things, being a Rangers manager, you've got to beat Celtic. If you don't beat Celtic, you don't last long. That's just a simple fact. And Clement's proved that he can't beat them. He hasn't beat them. I mean, even Michael Beale has a victory over Celtic, and that's saying something if he's had a victory over them. Gerrard had also, I think people say, well, look, isn't there not some parallels between Phillipe Clement's time at Rangers and Steven Gerrard's time at Rangers? The fact that Steven took, 3 years to build, to put into place, to win the league. No, I don't think there is, because I think right back at the start, if you go back to the start of Steven's appointment at Rangers and you look at how it was back when he first started, yes, there was bad results. Yes, there weren't some good. There were some bad times, and he was under pressure at times. But you could see what he was trying to do. You could see a vision. You could see progress. You could see a style, a shape, a set of ideas. You could see a respect from the players. You can't see any of that with Phillipe Clement. You can't see a style. You can't see a shape. You can't see a set of ideas. You can't see any respect. And I think that's the big difference. Is with Steven Gerrard, you clearly saw what the vision was, what he wanted to do, how he wanted his team to play, how he wanted his team set up, and how he wanted them to work. And it worked. And it eventually, obviously, it brings us to the league title. Now, I honestly believe, had we backed him after 55, had Douglas Park and his cronies, the virus that is destroying Rangers, Douglas Park and his Jabba the Hutt type son, had they actually come out and backed Steven Gerrard, given him the funds to bring in the players that he wanted, no matter what you thought of those players, giving him what he needed to build the team back up, I think, honestly, he would have stayed for at least another couple of years and probably would have had more success. And I don't think that we'd be in the position we are in today, where Rangers are in danger of becoming an irrelevance even in Scotland. And that's because of Phillipe Clement. That's because of the present board. I mean, that's just because the club is an utter shambles. And I honestly also think the club wouldn't have ended up like it is under Gerrard, because he wouldn't have allowed it. Gerrard had a vision, a strength of purpose. If you don't know about Steven Gerrard, if you don't know what Steven Gerrard is about, or you don't understand Steven Gerrard, go and read his autobiography. Go and understand Steven Gerrard. The guy is a winner. The guy is someone who only accepts the best. The guy is someone who will not accept second best. He will not accept failure, and failure hurts him. Absolutely hurts him. I've read his autobiography. He is an inspiration. He really genuinely is. And I remember reading the bit about when he slipped and fell in the game against Chelsea for Liverpool, and effectively ended Liverpool's title hopes that season under then manager Brendan Rodgers. And he was in tears all the way home. He didn't eat for a couple of days afterwards. It really affected him, because it ended his chances of getting a Premier League title. It ended his chances of winning. The guy is a winner. I mean, then you've got the example of Olympiacos when Gerrard scores that screamer to get Liverpool back in the game and then going to win the Champions League that season. So, through an Gerrard-inspired comeback in that 3-3 with AC Milan, win on penalties. Then you've got the West Ham Cup final when he scores that equaliser in the last minute and they go on to win that game as well. Gerrard is a winner. He is an absolute winner. He is a driven individual. He is someone who only accepts the best and demands the very best. And he did that when he was at Rangers. Now, look, people talk about that, and I'd love to have him back. I'd love to have him back. Realistically, I don't think he's going to come back. I don't think he ever will come back. I think if he comes back into management, he'll be back in England, in the Premier League. If he doesn't attempt to come back. But one kind of learning point from this whole thing is that's the type of manager we need. We need to look for someone like a Steven Gerrard, upcoming, ambitious, young, wants to be successful, has a clear vision, has a clear style, has a determination, is a winner. That's the type of person we need running this club as manager, not some two-bit Belgian has-been who, has won some Belgian leagues, at some point. We need someone who is driven, who is successful, who is a winner. And like I said, if you don't know the type of person Steven Gerrard is, go and read his autobiography. Then you'll understand where he comes from and what makes him what he is today. I mean, like I said, that guy came from a working class family, driven, absolutely driven. Look, I'll be honest. The likelihood is we're stuck with Clement until the end of the season. I genuinely believe that, unless he walks. I pray to God that he does walk. If the guy's got any self-respect, any kind of respect for the club or himself, he should actually just hand his resignation in now and walk, because he's not wanted here. He is an absolute embarrassment. You've only got to watch his post-match interview after the game, the other night, with the comments that he comes out with. To say that it was one of our best performances, that we were the better team and we were unlucky to lose, I think is just absolutely ludicrous. And I think he obviously wasn't watching the game. He might have been watching a rerun of a past game. I don't know. He clearly wasn't watching the game that we watched. But then again, it's not the first time that he's come out with this rubbish. And his press conferences, his post-match reactions, his pre-match reactions, they're all the same. They're just cloud cuckoo land, like some sort of tramp that's been sniffing glue. They really are just out there. As I said on the pod last night, I personally wouldn't appoint a manager at this point in the season if he is sacked. Like I said, I don't think he will be sacked. I'd go for an interim till the end of the season and then look in the summer to appoint someone. I think the board have clearly chosen to stick with him, and okay, fair enough. Respect to them for doing that. Stand by your man, I think, as Tammy Wynette once sang. But there comes a time and a place where you no longer can do that, and we've reached that point, haven't we? Now he's obviously going to go into the semi-final against Motherwell on Sunday, and Motherwell are no pushover. They really are no pushover. Yes, realistically, 9 times out of 10, we should obviously win that game, because Motherwell are Motherwell. They're not a massive team. Their budget is massively lower than ours. At the moment they sit 4th in the SPL. They're 3 points behind us. Their record is not vastly different to ours. They've won 5, drawn 1, lost 4. We've won 6, drawn 1, lost 3. They've got a 0 goal difference. We've got a +7 goal difference. Fuck knows how. They've won 3 of their last 5. We've won 3 of our last 5. So we've got very much identical records. And obviously Motherwell have the talent that is Lennon Miller. They're coming off the back of a 2-1 win over Dundee United the other night, which is a fantastic result over Dundee United team that started so well. Previous to that, they lost 3-0 at Celtic, lost 1-0 at Dundee, beat Hibs 2-1, beat St Mirren 2-1. Look, Motherwell are a good side. They're a top team in terms of what they've achieved this season, but they are not as good as us. They are not even on the same level as us. They have Lennon Miller, who is different class, and I would love Lennon Miller in the Rangers team. But other than that, realistically, this is a game we should be winning. But I don't mean they're a top team. I was trying to be respectful there. I was trying to show some respect. But it's a game we should be winning. And does the win in the semi-final over Motherwell change anything? No, it doesn't. It realistically doesn't change anything. The cracks are still there. The cracks are not even cracks anymore. They're canyons. They're the Grand Canyon. That's what they are. Rangers' next few fixtures. I think we go to Olympiacos on Thursday night next week, and I think we get absolutely smashed, because that is a very tough place to go. Piraeus is tough. It is. They are a very good team in Olympiacos. They won the Conference League last year. They're a decent side. Then we're at home to Hearts. Again, that's a game we should be winning. At home to Dundee United. Again, a game we should be winning. And then away to Nice. Again, I think that's another game where we get absolutely smashed. But Rangers, Hearts, Rangers, Dundee United, are they going to be the games that decide the Clement's future? No. I think you can probably lose both of those and still stay in a job. Like I said, I genuinely don't see this board sacking him. I don't know how bad it has to get before he does get sacked. But realistically, I honestly could see us dropping points against Hearts and Dundee United and him still having a job, if I'm being honest. I don't know what the situation is. I really don't know what's going through the board's head. I think the issue obviously is that we have no CEO, we have no real chairman, we have no decision makers at the moment at Rangers, and that's a big loss, isn't it? Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts, where you're up to at the moment, where you're at the moment. Thank you for watching, guys. Look, I'd love to talk. All I want to do is talk about a win and talk about something positive for the club for a fucking change. Seriously, it's like, oh man, I could do without this at the moment. Really good. Thank you for watching. As always, please obviously smash the sub, smash the like, drop a share, drop a comment. And remember always, we are the people.